So things have changed. It's a very different world in 1970 than it is in 1964. And Barry Goldwater comes in, and he's influenced by this. And this is the point that I want to make. He's deeply influenced by all of this. He's influenced by some of his personal experiences as well. In 1969, he was flying in the Luke Air Force Base, and he couldn't see because of the smog. And he had to land on instruments, and he was freaked out by this. He wrote a letter to his friend. He said, "I could not believe what I had to do. Our air pollution problem," he said, "is getting out of hand." He also noted while he was flying that there's everywhere, he called it gouging and cutting from suburban growth. And he said, "This makes me nervous. We should do something about it." Just like every other American, he's getting concerned about this. He's very mainstream, I would argue, when it comes to his response to the environmental problems of the period. And listen to this. This is one of the, when I first read this quote, I had one of those moments that historians have where you think smoking gun. Bing. It doesn't happen very often. You have to create the smoking gun, so to speak, with the evidence. But listen to this. He wrote a book in 1970 called Conscience of a Majority. And he wrote, it was the usual Goldwater stuff until you got to the next to last chapter. The chapter was called Saving the Earth. And listen to this paragraph. "I happen to be one who has spent much of his public life defending the business community, the free enterprise system, and local governments from harassment and encroachment from an outsized federal bureaucracy. Thus it is that my attitude on the question of pollution seems to have caused more than customary interest. I'm very frank about how I feel. I have discussed it with newspapers, reporters, and speeches, and on nationally televised talk shows. I feel very definitely that the Nixon administration is absolutely correct in cracking down on companies and corporations and municipalities that continue to pollute the nation's air and water. While I am a great believer in the free competitive enterprise system and all that it entails, I am an even stronger believer in the right of our people to live in a clean and pollution-free environment. To this end, it's my belief that when pollution is found, it should be halted at its source, even if this requires stringent government action against important segments of our national economy." End quote.